Looks like we've come to the end of the road. There's no point in running away now. I'd rather sleep until the storm is gone. She'd rather be shooting at me now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
Aloha, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome to a beautiful morning here in North Texas. If you're new to the channel, my name's Chad Naho'oleva. We have recently relocated from the most remote part in the entire world to beautiful North Texas. Just take a look at that, guys. I can seriously get used to this. Now, we got a fun one today, and I'm excited to really get working on this because this is something I've wanted to do for quite some time. And we have a company called Boslla. Now, Boslla has created a product that I feel should have existed a long time ago. We're gonna check this out. It's an extremely innovative product that I'm excited to see really what the results are. So without further ado, let's go ahead and head to the Lonestar Hawaiian garage. I gotta fix that. Now, what's really cool about being back on mainland, guys, is you can order paint online. So we have a box of goodies we're gonna be utilizing today. So I do apologize for the mess, guys. This stuff does move around pretty much every day. I need to find some time to actually start painting these walls. Now, what we are working on is, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the islands of Hawaii are my old headlamps. I actually kept these things, guys, when I put the new Spider headlamps in the truck there. I kept my old ones and wrapped them in saran wrap, shipped them to Texas. So let's go ahead and see what we're doing. All right, I'm certain most of you can guess what we're doing here today, but what we have are my stock headlamps that came off of my 2007 Silverado several months ago when I swapped them out for these Spider Auto headlamps. Now, these aftermarket headlamps here do have the projector beam, but it is a halogen bulb. For some reason, I cannot fit an LED bulb just because of the backing. We have two LED strips, but here's the thing. Not everyone has 300 bucks to throw at new headlamps, and my idea was, hey, what can you do to your stock headlamps to make them look cool, make them customized, do something a little bit different than all the other trucks on the road? And this is where this idea came about. I want to do something different with these headlamps because, to be honest, these fully chrome headlamps look awful on the front of my truck. So what I want to try to do, and I put emphasis on try because I have never done this before, and we're gonna try it for the first time here today, is we're gonna do a little bit of a paint matching. Now what we have here is my dark Ming blue metallic color matching paint from Duplicolor. We have some primer and a protective clear coat. Pretty simple there, but what we also did, since we're going to be modifying these and customizing these old headlamps, is we have a simple DRL flexible LED kit just off Amazon. Now this was about 10 or 12 bucks, super cheap, but we're gonna see what we can do to make these headlamps not only match the rest of the truck, but make them really unique. In order to pull this off, this is the first time I've ever disassembled any headlamps, but it looks like we have a few tabs here, and then also some kind of a bonding agent, probably some kind of glue, silicone, that we need to separate to get the clear lens off. Now, there's a few different ways you can do this. From all the research I've done, you can throw it in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, anywhere between 175 and 200 degrees. Now, I don't really want to throw this entire thing in my wife's oven. She might get mad at me there. So what we're gonna do instead is I have a heat gun, and we're gonna start disassembling this clear lens off the headlamp housing. Hey, where you going? You take my camera.
Looks like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again. She'd rather be burning it all now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back.
Well, guys, welcome back. I say welcome back because it's actually been 2 weeks since I left you last. And I left you, of course, in a very joyful mood. Now, it turns out the Silverado 07 to 13 the lens on the headlight does not get removed in the traditional method. It actually doesn't come off at all. What was Chevy thinking? There is another way to do this, and we've done it, and it actually takes cutting the lens off. In order to pull this off in, say, the normal way, you would stick this in the oven as you saw the other one, and the bonding agent here would either get hot and melt and begin to separate, and you can pull the lens from the housing. But this one, I don't know what Chevy uses, but this bonding agent does not heat up. So what you have to do instead is actually use a cutting tool and cut right along the housing. Now once you cut all the way around, the lens pops right off, and then you can access everything in here. Let's get to cracking on this. We're gonna cut the lens off. We're gonna sand most of that chrome off completely, put that layer of primer down, throw the blue down, throw the chrome down, and then clear coat over the top of all of it. So let's get going. All right guys, so now the cutting is done. We're gonna go ahead and start kind of disassembling a little bit of this. So what we need to do here is actually sand the chrome pretty much all the way off, and then this will reveal like a white plastic, and then we'll primer on top of the white plastic, paint it the color match of the truck, and then proceed with all the clear coat and fun stuff. But first we're gonna remove these reflectors. Now keep in mind, in order to be DOT legal, you need amber reflectors on the front of your vehicle as well as a light. We will have the light, but as far as the reflector goes, we'll need to install some kind of other reflector to be, again, legal. So let's pop these off. If you do figure out how to remove this plastic piece from the actual headlight assembly, it goes 10 times faster, but for some reason I cannot get this to pop out of the actual housing itself. To be honest, I'm not going to reuse these reflectors, so I could just break them off. But if you are to reuse them, just pull them real slow. Guys, that is so much chrome. Now, if you use a rotary cutting tool like I did, it's going to leave some excess melted plastic. So now would be a good time to clean a little bit of this up. As you can see right here, on the inside of the headlight housing, you got that plastic that is melted. So go ahead and either take that Dremel or just some needle nose pliers and start pulling this off, and then clean all this up. So now would also be a good time, guys, to pull your headlamp out. I was being an idiot and haven't even pulled that out yet. So here's my high beam, and I'm gonna pull my low beam out as well. Yeah, take that out first before you start cutting. And next up is the fun part. What we have is some wet or dry 800 grit sandpaper, a bucket, which I was using for a camera stand, and need some water. So what we're gonna do is sand the entire thing except for the headlamp and high beam. This will turn to a white color as a white coating underneath, and that's what we need to paint. And this just might be the longest part of the project, so let's go ahead and speed this up.
I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
All right guys, so the fun part is complete. We've sanded the majority of the chrome off where we're gonna paint. So a lot of little crevices, little design elements that make it a pain in the butt to sand, but this should be good enough. All the chrome has been etched to some extent. What we're gonna do now, we do have some Duplicolor primer. This is kind of a scratch filler primer, so this will work perfect with the 800 grit sandpaper we used here. What I'm gonna do is do a light coat and then a nice thick coat on here. Once that dries, I'll go ahead and wet sand it one more time, and then we'll apply the blue. So let's go ahead and clean this off with a paint thinner, and then we'll go ahead and spray it.
I don't think that bullets will bring back desire. Looks like a blink of an eye's not enough. She'd rather be staying for days now. I'd rather fix it than mess up again. She'd rather be burning it all now. I know it will end up in anger. I don't think we grew up, we just became older. She's aiming her words, ready to fire. I don't think that bullets will bring back desire.
All right. right, you can kind of see what I was talking about earlier with the chrome pieces really standing out and not necessarily looking good with that blue in the back. So what we're gonna do is darken this chrome a little bit to blend it in, make it look a little bit better. And what we're gonna use to do that is this Duplicolor Shadow. So what this is, kind of a blackout chrome kit. What happens is each and every coat you apply, it makes it just a little bit darker. So we're gonna put a few coats on this, help it blend out a little bit, make it look better. And finally, what we'll do is clear coat. Now, clear coat, this Duplicolor clear coat that I picked up is absolute crap. We're not gonna use that. But fortunately enough, this dark shadow kit does come with a clear coat, and this clear coat is actually really good. So we're gonna use this one instead of that one. Okay, now disclaimer, you should really tape off all the blue before you spray this and the chrome, but what it turns out is the blue is a little bit lighter than my truck color, and what this does is actually darken it just a little bit to get closer. So I'm actually not gonna tape it off and just spray over the top of everything. And we'll see how this goes.
I don't think that bullet will bring back desire.
So let's go ahead and let that cure for a little bit, let that dry. We'll come back, tack cloth it up, and then we got a clear coat to cover everything. All right, we wouldn't really be modifying headlights if you weren't adding something that every single car on the road these days come with. And it's really cool and something I kind of personally made me buy these headlamps on the truck right now. It's a ultra white LED daytime running light, but not even that. We do have sequential turn signals built in, and here it is. This is simple, this is easy, and it was like 12 bucks on Amazon. So we're gonna add this in to the headlight assembly and make it a little more modern, even though it's kind of modern, not really. But the difficult part is, I warn you that graphic images are upcoming. You do have to trim quite a bit to make this thing work in there. Now here's the reason. It is a cheaper type of LED light, and it comes everything just hooked up, and there's no way to undo it, to wire it through. So essentially you have this giant box and you have this really large strip. You got to get in there somehow, some way. So we're going to trim quite a bit, slide this thing in, but I promise you that at the end of this, it's going to look totally epic. Trust me. All right, so realistically, you should do this before you even paint or anything, but it just lapsed my mind and I just never did it. So we're doing it now. We've covered up a little bit using a plastic bag because this will throw some plastic. So we're going to go ahead and trim this piece, just utilizing again this Dremel. Let's go ahead and cut my headlight up. All right, we got it fed through finally, so we're gonna go ahead and lay it there. So that's where the LED strip's going to sit. Now I really wish I had any kind of variation that I could do, but just with the shape of this headlamp, there's really nowhere else that makes sense for this one anyways. So we're gonna run it here, we're gonna trim it there at the bottom, and we should be good. Clean this edge off. All right, there we go. LED strip is installed. We'll just have to wire it in. Again, this does have the sequential turn signal, which is really cool. Can't wait to show you guys. And it does have a secondary power source, which will hook into the turn signal positive side. All right, here is one of our last steps. We have our headlight lens. I really wish you could replace these things because these just, over time, they just get old. And old means yellow. So we're gonna place this back where it goes, but we're first gonna utilize some outdoor sealant. Now the outdoor sealant we are using, I don't know where it went, there it is. This one, where are we at? Dynaflex Ultra Weather Max Technology. So essentially it's just a outdoor sealant. We're gonna go ahead and run a bead amongst the edge where we cut, and then we're gonna place the lens back on top, and then we're gonna put some weight on it just to help it seal. And then we're gonna cross our fingers and hopefully that works. And then most likely tomorrow we'll run a bead just on the outside and then kind of just seal it completely altogether. Last thing is, don't put it on backwards. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for today because we gotta wait for these to dry. This is my handy method to seal this headlight back, and I'm 100% certain this is not the right way to do it. So tomorrow we should be good to go with these. So there's driver and passenger side all done. For those of you that are new, these are Spider Auto headlamps that I purchased. Again, just over $300 for these. And for those that can't, you know, throw 300 bucks at something like this, trying to give you guys an option. Trying something out that's completely new. I've never done this before, but I'm kind of liking the way it's turning out, and I actually might prefer those over these. Don't mind my hands, by the way. We'll see you guys bright and early to finish this thing up. All right, guys, it is the next day, and it's been 24 hours since I've seen you last, and the sealant has cured relatively. Now, when you do buy the sealant, the outdoor sealant that I use, now I didn't read the back of the package, and the back of the package states that full cure happens in 7 to 14 days. So when you are purchasing your kind of sealant, take into account that. Now, I didn't probably buy the best one, but it's going to work. So we are pretty much good to go, and I am really pleased with the outcome so far. And I will tell you, the truck is old. It's a 2007. These are the stock headlamps, which means the headlamps are technically 12 years old. Again, not new, but check out that finish, guys. Super stoked about that. Looks 100 times better than that chrome did. And the black chrome, look how that turned out too. I'm really, really surprised. This is actually going according to plan because that never happens on this channel. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna go ahead and swap my headlamps for my stock ones. So I'm going back to stock for the headlamps, but not really. I've done this literally dozens of times, so it should be no problem at all. Guys, we have a heat index of 105 right now in Texas, so I am sweating, and that's why. Initially, when I installed these Spider headlamps last year, I had a tremendous amount of questions how I went about wiring in the LED strips. So I'm gonna show you really quick what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do for these. So we have the power source here. We got 3 wires. We have a positive, a negative, and then a yellow wire, which is for the turn signal or the signal light. So I'm going to go ahead and wire the yellow wire into the positive side of the turn signal. I'm going to wire the red wire to the positive side on my headlamp, and then the negative to the negative side of the headlamp. That way, when you turn the truck on, put it in drive, the headlamps come on at a lower voltage, but it comes on, that way the strip will be illuminated. And then when you flip on the turn signal, the yellow wire, the power source will draw from here, and it will indicate yellow as well. So what I'm using is just simple quick connects. Now these are super cheap, buy them at Walmart. Now you simply insert the wire on one side, and then you run the source, which you're tapping into, on this side, and then simply clamp down this metal piece, and then it connects it together. That's why it's called quick connect. The brown wire here is the positive power source for it just being on parking lamps. Now the blue is the power source for the indicator. I'm saying power source, I mean the positive side of the indicator. Brown side is just parking lamps. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hook this yellow wire to this blue wire, and this black wire is gonna be hooking in with the headlamp, positive and negative. So let's do that. All right guys, it ain't pretty, but it's done. We have the power source on the turn signal, positive and negative on the headlamp. We're gonna go ahead and put some electrical tape on these, protect them a little bit, and then make this look a little better before we pop it back in. And then finally, take the stock power source, plug it in to the Boslla piece, line the yellow up with the positive, the black up with the negative, simple enough, and then plug that in right there. That way you don't cross your wires. Now this is the Lonestar Hawaiian garage, guys, and we are practically impractical, so we gotta switch up to something a little more cinematic. you guys have it. The customized 07 to 13 Silverado headlamps. Super excited about this, and to be honest, this came out way better than I thought it was going to when I started. This LED strip is epic. It's sequential, meaning when you hit that blinker, it's gonna switch to that amber color, and it's a nice sequential running light. Definitely modernizes the front end of this truck. And in addition, obviously the Boslla LED with the 3 color changing options. Now, in 24 hours, we're gonna drop another video exclusively about the Boslla headlight. Super straight to the point, all the details on that headlight there. Definitely stay tuned. 24 hours, that video is gonna drop right after this. You'll see a lot of footage that you don't see in this video, so definitely stay tuned and check that out. Now with these Boslla LED headlight bulbs, sneak peek for next video, check this out. So freaking cool. Stay tuned for next video for sure. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in with me tonight. Super excited about these headlamps and the way they turned out. It was a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be. You do have to reseal it, give yourself a little more time to make this happen. And again, the color match option on the inside, the LED strip, the Boslla LED headlamp, everything just worked for the better. Super stoked about this. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, guys, consider subscribing below. Be part of the Lonestar Hawaiian family. If you enjoyed this video, if you like these headlamps, smash that like button down there as well. If you haven't followed on Instagram, Lonestar Hawaiian on Instagram. Get the inside scoop there before you see them drop in on YouTube. Thank y'all so much for all the support on the channel thus far. Until next time, until tomorrow, y'all take care. Aloha, and as always, enjoy the ride.